Ethan Crumbley is a name that will forever be associated with a tragic and harrowing event. The 15-year-old from Michigan was charged with a mass shooting that shook the Oxford high school community to its core. On November 30th, 2021, Ethan carried out an attack that resulted in the deaths of 4 students and left several others injured. His actions were not only shocking, but also highlighted the deep issues surrounding mental health and gun access. Ethan used a 9mm handgun, which had been legally purchased by his father. The weapon was left unsecured, and Ethan managed to take it from the family home. The tragedy unfolded when Ethan walked through the hallways of Oxford High School, opening fire on his fellow students. Within minutes of the shooting, first responders arrived on the scene, guiding students and staff to safety and beginning the urgent process of medical care for the injured. Despite their swift actions, 3 students tragically died at the scene, and a 4th succumbed to their injuries at the hospital. The aftermath of the shooting saw Ethan's parents, James and Jennifer Crumbley, summoned to the police station. When confronted with the horrific reality of their son's actions, their reaction was one of profound disbelief and distress. However, their focus seemed oddly misplaced as they expressed concern over their missing cat, Dexter, named after the fictional character Dexter Morgan from the TV show Dexter. The lack of remorse from Ethan and his parents was shocking, raising questions about their understanding of the gravity of the situation. Ethan Crumbley faced numerous charges, including first-degree murder and terrorism. The prosecution's case was robust, emphasizing that Ethan's actions were premeditated and intentional. The core issue was not just the act of violence itself, but the fact that Ethan had chosen to inflict such harm on others rather than seeking help for his own troubled state. The trial revealed disturbing details about Ethan's state of mind and planning. His journal and text messages outlined his intentions with alarming clarity. He had listed specific items he needed for the attack, such as pistol magazines, a mask, and a knife, and his notes contained graphic descriptions of his plans. The content of Ethan's journal was particularly chilling. He wrote about his desire for the victims' families to suffer, and even mentioned a failed plan to kidnap and murder a girl from his neighborhood. His research into Michigan prison sentences, including life imprisonment for minors, showed a disturbing level of premeditation. In the weeks leading up to the shooting, Ethan had scoured information about the potential consequences of his actions, indicating a cold and calculated mindset. Ethan's intentions were further documented through video recordings. In these videos, he described his plans in graphic detail, including his desire to attack students in the hallways. His obsession with the idea of killing was evident in the way he spoke about his plans. These recordings were a crucial part of the prosecution's case, providing insight into Ethan's disturbed mindset and his deliberate planning.
Walk to the dividend between the boys and the girls' bathroom. I will have my bike jacket on, and I will walk behind someone, and I will shoot a bullet in their skull. I'm going to open fire on everyone in that hallway. The hallways are too jam-packed. I will try and hit as many people as I can. I will reload, and I will find people hiding.
The principal of Oxford High School, who had witnessed the aftermath of the shooting, testified about the chaotic and distressing scenes she encountered.
It was crushing, and I had to help him. I just needed to save him for his mom, that I needed him to hang with me. I could taste his blood.
Her account highlighted the emotional toll of the event, including her struggle to save one of the victims amidst the horror of the situation. The testimony painted a vivid picture of the impact the shooting had on the school community. Initially, Ethan pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity. His defense team argued that he was mentally ill and unable to fully comprehend the consequences of his actions at the time of the shooting. A mental health expert testified that Ethan had experienced a psychotic episode, which contributed to his inability to understand the severity of his behavior. However, this argument faced significant challenges given the evidence of Ethan's detailed planning and premeditation. A school senior, who had known Ethan, described him as someone who had been subjected to bullying. This aspect of Ethan's life was highlighted as a potential factor contributing to his violent behavior. While bullying might have played a role in his actions, it was clear that Ethan's decision to carry out such a heinous act was a result of a complex interplay of factors, including mental health issues and access to firearms. Ultimately, Ethan confessed to his crimes and pleaded guilty to all charges. His admission of guilt was accompanied by a profound acknowledgement of his role in the deaths of Madison Baldwin, Hannah St. Juliana, and Justin Schilling. During the sentencing phase, victims' families addressed Ethan directly, expressing their deep anguish and demanding a severe punishment. The impact on the families was profound, with some hoping for Ethan to suffer mentally, while others advocated for a life sentence without the possibility of parole, emphasizing that their loved ones would never have a second chance. Ethan was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, plus an additional 24 years. This sentence reflected the gravity of his actions and the irreparable harm caused by his crime. The case also had significant legal implications, as Ethan's parents, Jennifer and James Crumbly, were charged with involuntary manslaughter for their role in the tragedy. They had failed to secure the weapon used in the shooting and had ignored warning signs of their son's troubled behavior. CCTV footage showed them practicing at a shooting range with the same gun just days before the attack. After the shooting, the Crumbleys fled, but were eventually apprehended and charged. Their trial marked a significant moment in legal history, being the first time in the U.S. that parents were criminally charged for their child's mass school shooting. In a separate but related case, Willard Miller and Jeremy Goodale, both 16, were charged with the murder of their Spanish teacher, Noema Graber, in Iowa. The two students were accused of assaulting and killing Graber at a local park. They then left her body covered and discarded. The crime was initially reported on social media, where Miller and Goodale bragged about their actions. Both were arrested shortly after, and both pleaded guilty to first-degree murder. Miller received a life sentence with the possibility of parole after 35 years, while Goodale was sentenced to life with the possibility of parole after 25 years. Another case that drew attention was that of Michael Swanson, convicted of double murder in Iowa. Swanson had stolen his mother's Jeep and attempted to rob a gas station, resulting in the deaths of 2 employees. He was found with a ski mask and a gun, and his subsequent statements revealed his lack of remorse. Despite his defense team's claims of insanity due to untreated mental health issues, Swanson was sentenced to 2 life sentences. His behavior throughout the trial, including his erratic and indifferent demeanor, underscored his unstable mental state. In Florida, 13-year-old Derek Rosa fatally stabbed his mother, Irina Garcia, with a kitchen knife. Rosa had recently become a sibling to a newborn sister. After the murder, he called 911, claiming he was fine but had blood on his hands. Rosa later admitted to stabbing his mother over 40 times. The trial is ongoing, and Rosa's family has pleaded for leniency. If convicted, Derek could face life imprisonment, as he is being tried as an adult. Lastly, Damon Kemp, who was charged with a double murder in Florida, displayed erratic behavior during his trial. Kemp was found guilty of killing Trey Ingram and Jordan Payton and was sentenced to 3 consecutive life terms in prison. His outbursts and disoriented behavior highlighted his mental instability and contributed to the gravity of his sentencing. These cases reflect a disturbing pattern of violence and the complex factors that contribute to such tragedies. They highlight the urgent need for effective mental health support, secure firearms storage, and comprehensive intervention strategies to prevent future incidents of violence.